Well, let's start with how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Just a late night flight in from Dublin last night and peeled myself out of bed. So, but
I
it's been a great day so far. So
was gonna
all
say,
good.
good, good. We're glad. Happy birthday, by the way. It's a bit
Oh,
belated, but a big 3-0. How do you feel
Yes.
about that?
Happy birthday.
oh, thank you. I feel good about it.
Good.
I feel like I've already lived 10 lives already.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get all caught up about aging and stuff. And you know what? Like a phrase that changed my life was what a privilege it is to get old because not everybody gets the chance.
So true.
So
So true.
yeah, I'll take a few wrinkles, it's fine.
Exactly. And they do say that 30 is the new 20. 21, sorry.
Do you know it feels like it is because
Yeah.
everyone I know now that's like in their 30s or just turned 30, it's like, oh, this is the best. I
Yeah.
feel like I know what I'm doing. I love myself. It's all good. We're plowing on. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, this feels like probably what the 20s should have been like, but good luck buying a house now
Well,
in your 20s.
yeah. Well, the thing is, things happen. Do you know what I mean? So that's life. Um, but anyway, yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
you've been very busy. New album just released and everything like that.
Mm,
Congrats.
thank you.
Big
Oh,
congrats.
We
oh, thank
also
you.
realized that your song was on radio just
Yes.
today.
So, I was I don't know what I was doing. I was on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it.
Mm,
And I saw that Radio 2, Vernon Kay was playing your a new song.
yes.
How cool is that?
Do you know what? It's insane. So I think about 3 weeks ago, Scott Mills, who I love because I grew up with him on Radio One or whatever,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he'd played Red Flag, and obviously I cried my eyes out and was like,
Yeah.
"What the frick?" And then I got an email maybe a few days later saying I was on the C list for Radio Two, and obviously, cried my eyes out some more.
Yeah.
Um, and then it's been getting its plays, and then it got moved up to the B list, and it's just
Oh,
mental.
wow.
So I've been getting loads of spins
Honestly,
from
crazy.
and it's weird because like I actually like listen to the radio on long drives and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's very surreal to hear people that you just normally listen to on the radio playing your stuff. It's nuts.
I just also it's even better that it was Vernon Kay. Do you know what I mean?
I
He just made it
know, like,
10 times better.
True.
and it must have been a good time because even my accountant emailed me. So I was like, "Jakers, what's going on here?"
Love that. Okay.
I mean, it is a really good album. I have
Yeah.
a personal favorite, and it is a song that I actually wanted to ask you about. You said Funeral for My Best Friend. So I really like the song. I think because if you listen to all of these songs from like the starting towards the ending as well,
Mm.
it has momentum. Like so it's like more energetic, then it goes a bit subtle, calm, emotional a bit.
Mhm.
And is that song written is it like something from personal experience, or is it
So essentially, the day before I wrote that song, I got out of a 3.5 year relationship, and we were living together and all that kind of stuff. But they left that night, the night before I wrote it, and everything in that song was exactly just what had happened. Because normally you write the song like weeks, months after something's happened to you,
Yeah.
and you've time to process it and this, that, and the other. But because I wrote a lot with friends on this album, like they already know what's going on in my life, right? So I turned up to the writing session with Maddox Jones, who's amazing. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, what do you want to write about today?" And I, have all these songs, and I'm like, "Oh, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this." And he's like, how about we write about the breakup that you just went through? And I was like, nah, it's all good. I got so many exciting ideas. He's like, no, we're writing about it. So threw me in the deep end. So everything in that was literally from the night before, where I was like sitting in their office, smelling their cologne or whatever it was, wearing their shirt, and like it's all real. It was all
Yeah.
real. So very raw and very emotional, and it's how a relationship like that feels, when you've been with somebody for so long, and then they go from being your best friend to never seeing them. Because I am not a, hey, let's still be friends. No, 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 no,
Yeah,
no,
I know.
no.
I completely agree.
It's over, get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it felt like you cut them off and then you never speak to them again. So it is like mourning, it is like grief, because they, you know, not to be morbid, but just like they may as well be dead to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
I
and
mean,
yeah, and there was a lot of female rage as well in that song, and it was real because it was, you know, I was just so frustrated and angry and upset at everything that had gone on, you know, and I left that in. I remember playing it to the label. Independent, don't get too excited, but yeah, played it to the label, and I was expecting them to hate that middle eight and last chorus because it was not my best vocal by any means. Like I did other ones that were more pristine and clean and whatever, but I just decided to play him the one where it was just a straight take of me just shout singing,
yeah,
growling essentially my way through those.
yeah,
And
totally.
yeah, he turned around and was like, I love it. The angst, the female
Yeah,
rage. And I was
It
like,
caught
exactly.
go.
it caught my ear. I mean, like I was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is like this is so real.
It makes
Yeah.
it makes it that
Yeah.
just that little bit, you know.
And funny, I'm wearing this t-shirt, but normally I refer to that song as My Chemical Rodeo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I
Uh,
love that.
and I realized that obviously now talking to you, it's like obviously you were 16 back then,
Mm.
now 30, and it like there's a description on the video of your audition which
Mm.
said like you've never played like sang in front of a big crowd, and it
Mhm.
was like and then you went and did it. Now,
Mm.
one of the biggest questions is how nervous, because I've never like I don't know if like I've heard any interviews where you've really spoke about like how nerve-wracking it was. First time as well, and 16, and there was like a whole room of people,
Yeah,
and you did
Yeah.
it like, in one shot.
I know it's because that year they decided to do it in arenas, the auditions. And you know, I played a little bit, but like only to half empty pubs and in mass, you
yeah.
know.
You're like any other 16-year-old, to be honest.
Maybe
Like,
the occasional like singing contest and stuff like that, you know, but
yeah,
not massive crowds, you know. And even at those I was always nervous, like but the thing with nerves is if you don't do it, then your brain learns that it saved your life from letting you back out, you know. So I do firmly believe in just the act of doing. But no, before I went on, I was shaking like a leaf. And the
yeah,
whole time I was singing, obviously, like I swear nobody knows this, but like, because obviously I was wearing my big jumper and my woolly dress and everything. Because in Ireland at the time it was snowing. It
yeah,
obviously
yeah.
was not in England. And I remember like coming off and wanting to take my cardigan off, but I like had the big oil sweat patches underneath because it was so warm.
Yeah,
I was so nervous. And the thing is, my hands get really cold, but my body gets really warm. So I'm like shaking and roasting at the same time,
yeah,
but petrified. Because yeah, I mean, it's like there's a whole room of people, there's a whole room of cameras, there's everything, and you're, you know, there's like nobody talking
yeah. It's
either.
so over. It must be so overwhelming. I have to admit, I tried to put myself in you know in your place when you were 16. I thought, blimey, I couldn't do that. I mean, honestly, hats
True,
off to you because
true.
I couldn't have done it. And
That
you
is
went
true.
on there and you smashed it out the park. To be perfectly honest
Oh,
with you.
thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
As students for music
yeah,
as well,
yeah,
like
we're music students,
we're
so
music students
yeah,
ourselves, and one of the craziest things I find it really difficult to this day as well, like even going on stage, even if I
Mhm.
did it or we've all done it a few times, I
yeah,
still get those things. But I was like just thinking about your moment where you went, I was like, I don't know, I would have chickened out,
yeah,
me personally.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
that's just
luckily,
incredible.
the Catholic guilt kicks in because you've already spent money on flights and
no,
hotels. You
it's
know
true.
what I mean? There's no backing out.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
I love that.
also, I saw it's reached 44 million views now, so
44
it,
million.
Yeah, well,
Wow,
44
yeah,
million.
on one of them, and I think the other one has like over 30 million stuff. It's
Yeah,
mental.
crazy.
it's
I
gone.
know, especially considering the era, like 2011, YouTube wasn't what YouTube
Nah,
is
yeah,
now.
yeah. I mean, going back to X Factor, I know obviously you're probably more than sick of hearing about X Factor now, but um,
No, it's
you know, do you feel like that had an impact on your career now? Do you feel like it, you know, do you think it's helped you in any way or anything like that?
at the start it was hard, obviously, because
Yeah,
just being factual and not in any way. Because I don't regret going on that show whatsoever at all. And it's more that whenever I would apply to, you know, get a seat on a breakfast sofa or get my song on the radio or
yeah,
anything to do with the industry, they were like, no, sorry, she did X Factor, can't have that. And
Really?
then it would be
Wow.
really frustrating as well. It's like, oh, we love her, but if we open the door to a talent show contestant, then they'll all want on. And I'm like,
That's
okay.
nice. I'm actually quite
So
surprised.
so for a long time, it kind of had a few doors closed. But even then, and still now, like if someone just doesn't want to play it for whatever reason, because I did a show when I was a kid, it's like, okay, that's a-okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
It's
fine.
it's
Yeah.
funny that that was said, like what
Yeah.
you just said, because Gary,
Yeah.
when you were on the show, Gary said like that is the voice. I remember he clearly, like when I watched the video, he said that is the voice you want to hear in records, you want to hear on radio.
Mm.
So it's like, and then after all that, I was like, wow,
You just, I mean, someone who obviously, I haven't been on X Factor, but I would assume, from watching it for so
Yeah.
many years that, it would surely open more doors for
Yeah.
you. And you say it was the other way. How
Wow.
strange is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. It's like it's by that time, because 2011 they'd had a good
Yeah.
few years of it. It was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no,
No.
they'd reached that point, and that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, look at you now. So
I
Well,
know.
at the
No.
minute, that's kind of what's great. Like I'm getting the things that I always wanted to get, but the doors were closed.
mean,
Because I think like 13 years of knocking on people's door and going, hey,
yeah,
still going,
yeah,
still making music. How
yeah,
about now? Am I cool yet?
yeah.
Just
Oh, bless you.
constantly. So yeah, I mean, you just got to keep going until you can't.
Yeah, 100%. I was just looking at your discography on Spotify and everything else. I didn't know you released a Christmas EP back in
Two
2015.
Christmas EPs.
Oh
I
my
know.
Play
God.
that as well now.
Yeah.
We've got to
Oh
play that on
God.
our show now.
Yeah, 100%.
Woo! Yeah, no, I did. The first one was December Days. There's originals and covers on both EPs, that
Yeah.
and Little Lights, and it was like, I'm pretty sure it was my manager's mission to make me like Christmas.
Yeah, I love that.
I really didn't like Christmas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then it started because I was out in New York, and though it was February, right, the whole city was snowed under. Nobody was there. Tourists weren't outside. Like it was empty. Like only taxis on the road. Like it was crazy. And I literally felt like I was at home alone. Like able to walk around Central Park and nobody being there was nuts.
Crazy.
So I was like, oh, maybe I'm kind of in the mood to write a Christmas song. And I wrote December Days with my guitar player at the time, who actually produced this record, Emotional Radio. And I wrote that and was like, oh, I really like that song. And then just kind of kept going.
I love it. Honestly, love it. Imagine, Christmas #1 potential. You never know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe. That'd be
Get
nice.
us
But
some more Christmas songs out.
I think I'm done with Christmas. I'll just repitch.
No. We've got
Uh,
Christmas coming up. What a shame. I'm joking. But yeah, looking at your album now, I mean, again, big congrats. But talking about the album, obviously, you were working with Ben Earl and Katie Ray. How did you find that? I mean,
Well, Katie, I love the bones of that girl. We've written loads together, and all the rest of it. And luckily on this day, right, because originally I think we had someone in to do 3 of us writing, because normally it would just be me and Katie. And luckily I'd already left the house, and when I was about 5 minutes away from her house, like, bear in mind, I do loads of research before writing sessions, like as far as like making sure my writing documents are up to date, and I have a really weird way of working, so I have research documents involved with songwriting. It's weird. So I was like, everything's in order, Grant. And then as I'm pulling up, it was like, oh, Ben Earl's going to join us. And I was like,
yeah,
Ben
yeah,
Earl's in the Shire. So luckily I didn't have too long to be panicking, because otherwise I'd have been sat in the car going, no, it's a terrible idea. No, I can't put that one in, and I can't do this, and I can't do that, and I'd overthink. And no, I got to just kind of walk into the room, get the writing session started, no fangirling, and no, it was great, because both of those they're both incredibly great writers.
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
No, they are.
Oh, great. Well, I mean,
They're-
did you just, throw yourself in the deep end? Did you find it difficult at any points working, writing with a third person? Was that no?
No, I've written in bigger sessions than that as well. Like
Yeah.
it's all it's pretty chill when it's your stuff, especially for Emotional Rodeo, because it was like I pitched maybe 3 or 4 ideas, and they both agreed on Emotional Rodeo, and I was like, cool, let me just invite you into this master document. Here is a glossary of words, and here is a bunch of idioms to do with rodeo, and here's a bunch of this and a bunch of this and da 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 da. So literally, the song wrote itself really quickly
Yeah.
because nobody had to be googling anything, and we just
Yeah.
you know
How, how
after it.
long how long back did you start the whole project? Like when did you guys start recording your album? Like
Recording the album, we did it in July in Nashville,
nice.
Nice.
and in 2.5 days we had 21 songs. So that was great. So then we had a few more days doing vocals, some backing vocals. Which I did say to the label, I was like, if you think I'm gonna do 21 vocals here,
Yeah.
that's not gonna happen. That's humanly impossible. But there's a few on the album that were Nashville, like on the day live with the band, which is, nice because it's all
Yeah.
like synergy and stuff.
100%.
And then there's obviously a few that I took back here to the studio in London,
Yeah.
and I wanted to get my friends on it as well. So I got my friends either shouting on backing vocals or got them playing, I had my mandolin player on, and this, it was kind of a project to get everybody in and then just refine from there. So, but I started, so pretty much I released my first country song in 21, and I'd already started writing. So I'd say probably 2019, I think, when I wrote the first country song for this album was, I'm pretty sure, yeah. But then it was, you could start writing
Oh,
one before you finish another,
yeah,
and
of course.
all this kind of stuff. So it's quite a lengthy process. And then also I slowed it down by getting diagnosed with ADHD and then writing the best songs I'd ever written. So pretty much 30 songs just went in the bin. Not
Dude,
like
that's
straight
right
away. I was like,
right.
they suck in comparison to what I'm doing now. So bye. And
See?
then I wrote
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
40 more and was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Rate that from you so much because
Yeah.
I know so many musicians who are like, oh, but I really do like this one, and
That's true.
and I do, and there's that 100 songs.
Yeah.
So okay, well maybe we need to just narrow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not precious. I'm like, that sucks. That sucks. That sucks.
Yeah.
And then I would have sent the label like 30, 40 songs on a big playlist and gone, you pick the ones that
Yeah,
I
what do
might
you think?
just
Yeah.
bin. Because there's ones that I would just chuck. And you know what? There's ones on this record. I won't name names.
I
Ones
was
that I
just
was
going
like,
to ask you that. I was like,
Yeah.
can you tell me which ones
I
you
will
didn't
tell you.
want on it?
I'll tell you one because I've been honest about it, which was Whiskey on My Breath.
Mm.
I wrote that before I was on the good meds, and I was a bit like, oh, Janet's talking about booze again, So I was like, oh well, it's just what it is, what it is. And then we did it out in Nashville because we'd plowed through the songs, and it was like,
Yeah.
we're running out of songs here, And the label was like, oh, Whiskey on My Breath. So I did that live with the acoustic guitar, I think, and stuff like that, and I didn't put a lot of gas in that one, in the sense of I just was like, all right, you want me to sing it? Okay, let me get in that place. And I sang it like twice and went, okay, cool, next song. And then, the producer took me by surprise. He'd gone and he'd, made everything glittery.
Yeah.
And I listened to it, I was like, oh,
Oh.
you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the head of the label. His name's Jurgen, and he loves that song. So I was like, there you go, put it on. But now that I hear it in context with everything,
Yeah.
it makes sense, and a lot of people seem to really like it. So I'm glad I put it on.
Good. I'm
That
glad.
is a good album.
Yeah,
It
no,
is a good
honestly, I love the country vibe, I
I
have
do.
to admit.
I do.
I rate it so much. But I have to, again, looking through, looking at your album covers, they're all a bit different, aren't
That's
they?
true.
They're all really,
Yeah.
and I think it kind of sees you move as an artist over the years.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, I feel like, when you were like thinking of this album, how did you come up with thinking about your artistry, showing who you are throughout this album, the country vibe.
Styling and stuff like that.
Yeah. And
Cool.
like,
Easy. So
Yeah.
I naturally have a lot of Western-y style stuff anyway, because I horse
Yeah.
ride all the time. And the things with Western wear is that their like everyday clothing is supposed to be multifunctional, so you can wear it on a horse, right? So I naturally have a crossover wardrobe there.
Yeah.
Like I already had chaps, I was like, great,
Love it.
we're
Yeah.
set. And I have a stylist that's called Airy, and they are amazing.
Yeah.
Pretty much anytime you look at a photo and you go, oh, I love what you're wearing, or she looks great, it's like, that's not me. That's airy. Like
Tracy.
they're just great. Like
Yeah.
all the photo shoot photos, that's Aries work. You know,
Yeah.
I'll bring my bits and then he'll bring his, like, and they'll make it just amazing.
Yeah.
So that is because of that. And like, you know, even from whenever I was a kid and because I used to be a competitive show jumper, like when I would be
Wow.
competing, when I would be competing, you know, you have to keep your competition wear clean.
Yeah.
So when I was rallying around getting everything ready, I was always in a pair of cowboy boots.
Yeah.
Because if it meant then I could get on the horse and have to move him, I could, and then get back off. And then before I'd go in, I'd put my nice boots on.
Yeah.
You know, so like that plus always listening to country music with my dad on the way to competitions and stuff like that. Like, I love horses. I love country
Do you,
music.
do you still compete now for fun?
I still ride now. I still
Nice.
I do that like multiple times a week and stuff, and it's
lovely.
good for the soul, you know. At the weekends I have to do chores, and it's pretty funny, you know. You might be doing like
Like
you might be doing like listening to, the thing is the other day, like I was in mucking the stable out. I had the radio on because like I was like maybe I'll get played, and it did, and I didn't film it because I was like, you know, 10 miles deep in horse manure.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe not the vibe, you know. But yeah, it's really good for like keeping me grounded, and it's a good sport anyway for if you're a nervous person. With horse riding, you learn how to hide it throughout your whole body, because there's one thing hiding it from your face, but you have to be able to like relax, because if you're nervous and a horse feels it, they're nervous. So it's a really good transferable skill into performing, because it's like, okay, not only do I have to look okay, I have to actually tell my body I'm okay.
Yeah. You just have to, you know, get in the zone.
The feeling, the confidence.
Yeah.
I
Fake
mean,
till you make it.
Yeah, great skill to have if you're on stage. 100%.
So so now that I bet that were you doing that when you were 16 as well? Were you riding still back then as well?
So 16, I'm pretty sure. It might have been a couple of months before that, but
Oh, nice.
I had to make a decision at one point, because I had my horse, and because I was competing, and it was something that I did my whole life or whatever. My dad ended up taking my mentor to one of my singing competitions.
Oh wow.
And he didn't tell me, right? Because I had to make this choice, because like I was a nerd in school. So I got good grades. But I was struggling to juggle, like doing music, doing courses.
This is multi-talent right here.
And doing school. Like when I tell you, people are like, oh, are you overwhelmed when you went on TV because of the big schedule? I was like, babe, I had 1 day a week to do my homework. 1 day a week. Okay. Like everything else, it was Saturday school, competitions, singing and horse riding, everything. My schedule, I've booked and busy since I was a kid, right? So like
you're still booked and busy at the age of 30.
I know.
They started you young.
So whenever then like they took my mentor to the gig, or to me singing, you know, he was my biggest champion as a show jumper. Like he was there from when I started to whatever, and he had high hopes of me doing really well in that regard, right? So he came, and my dad asked him like, what do you think, should horses are the songs? And he goes, I genuinely can't believe these words are coming out of my mouth, but I think she needs to at least pursue this, because there's no better time than now, and I think she can do it.
Was
that? And I was like, what?
I bet
Was that personally a choice for you?
Well, I think that answered it for me. If your biggest fan of your show jumping or whatever is saying no, I think can't believe it. Yeah, you're gonna have to try. So that was the thing. So I ended up, you know, leaving the sport, putting all my rosettes and trophies in the attic, and just going into pursuing that, and also trying to get good grades.
Trying to finish school. Oh well, we love that from you. I mean, Emotional Rodeo is just such a well-rounded album. I think honestly it's great. I think it just really sums you up as an artist now. I think it's so current.
Thank you.
It's on our playlist for the coming week as well.
So we will be playing it.
So
here at Blast.
I feel like the uni girls, if I have one recommendation for anyone who's at university, they need to go and listen to Catfishing. Because that song is about dressing yourself up for a night out, and obviously lying. So fake hair, fake nails, fake boobs, push-up bras, Gorilla Glue in your strip lash on.
Yeah.
All of this, it's all about decking yourself out and then going out in the town and reeling yourself a man just to lie to them, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Great
You
road
know, and there's a
trip,
Dolly
yeah.
Parton quote in it and stuff, but I've noticed now that the girls that have listened to the album are really loving Catfish. So it would be my rec to, yeah, the uni girlies who might be going out on a night out.
I mean, that's me.
We're
So,
gonna
yeah.
play your message out, like the part. So obviously they're gonna hear it, but we're gonna especially play that so that
Yeah,
they go
definitely.
listen to Catfish.
Yes.
100%.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's all the questions I've got. I don't know
Yeah,
if you've
that's
got any
it.
more.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much for
Oh,
doing this.
thank you,
We really
guys.
appreciate
Yeah,
that.
really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's all good. Thank you so much for your time, guys.